Today I want to talk about procrastination, but not in the usual way, not in the way we are used to hearing it. Like you just need more discipline or just stop being lazy. I want to talk about what's really happening underneath. Because procrastination isn't laziness, it's protection. Let's just start there, because that idea alone might already begin to change how you relate to this part of yourself. Most people think procrastination is a willpower problem, or a character flaw, or that you're just not disciplined enough. But what if I told you that procrastination is actually a nervous system response? I'm a hypnotist, and before I learned how to work with my mind and body, I was a massive procrastinator myself. Not just once in a while, I mean extreme levels. If there was a way to avoid a task, I found it. I would delay everything, even things I wanted to actually do, until the pressure built up so much that it became unbearable. I remember once pushing it so far during a diploma course I was taking at the time. I kept putting it off submitting my assignments until it was literally too late to finish them all on time. So I had to walk into the school and negotiate some kind of solution so I don't fail. And I did. I managed to talk my way into a new deadline a month later, which is wild. Because instead of just doing the actual task, I basically had to develop my negotiation and sales skills just to avoid it. And thinking back now, it just seems ridiculous to me, but also such a clear example of how my subconscious was prioritizing protection over progress. And once I really understood this, that procrastination isn't about laziness or lack of motivation, it's the nervous system trying to avoid discomfort, or more specifically, the internal overwhelm associated with a task. There is something about the task itself, or what it represents, that your system perceives stressful. It might not be that you don't want to get it done. In fact, you probably do. But the thought of starting or finishing feels overwhelming. Maybe it seems too big. Maybe there is pressure to get it perfect. Maybe it brings up old fears of judgment, failure, or not being good enough. And so your nervous system kicks into protection mode. It starts to avoid, not because you're lazy, but because it's all just too much for the system to hold in that moment. And that avoidance can look sneaky. It might look like scrolling on the phone, watching cat videos, gaming, organizing your kitchen, going to the beach, or even just staring at the wall counting holes in the air. Because all of those are forms of self-soothing. And the reason they feel so satisfying in the moment is because your brain is looking for a dopamine hit. Dopamine is a feel-good chemical, but it's also a stress suppressor. So when you scroll or distract yourself, you're not just procrastinating. You're trying to regulate your nervous system by numbing the stress. The problem? That dopamine hit is just short-lived. It crashes, and once it wears off, you're still left with the same unfinished task. And now maybe you're feeling even more guilt or stress on top of it. So let's go deeper. Procrastination is a subconscious strategy. It's often rooted in fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of not doing it perfectly. So your subconscious goes, this task feels threatening. Let's avoid it. And boom. Suddenly, you're cleaning out your inbox from 2008 or deep in the rabbit hole of YouTube tutorials. Your logical mind says, just do it. But your subconscious says, doing it doesn't feel safe. And here's the catch. Your subconscious always wins. Why? Because the subconscious controls up to roughly 95% of our thoughts, actions, and decisions. It runs old programming, past experiences, emotional memory. It doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotional cues, patterns, and felt safety. So if you're stuck in procrastination, you're not broken. You're not lazy. Your system is just doing what it's made to do, protect you. And here's the beautiful news. Once you understand that, you're already halfway to shifting it. Because now, instead of fighting yourself with more judgment or more pressure, you can begin to work with yourself. In my work, I've helped hundreds of people rewire this pattern at the subconscious level, and often it doesn't take long. A few deep sessions where we get to the root, not just the symptom, and things begin to shift real fast. We help your system feel safe taking action. We reframe fears underneath the delay, and we build a new association, one where movement feels empowering, not dangerous. This isn't about hype or hustle. It's about working with yourself instead of against yourself. It's about upgrading the internal story from "I can't do this" to "I can trust myself to begin." And from that place, procrastination softens. Action becomes natural. Flow opens up. So if you're in this pattern, I see you. I've been there. And I know it can feel endless. But it's not. Because this isn't about forcing your way through. It's about changing how your body and mind relate to action at the core level. And if you're curious to explore this more deeply, I offer one-on-one hypnosis and coaching where we do just that. It starts with a free strategy call to see if it's a good fit. You can register via the link in the description below. And don't worry if you're not quite there yet. I've got heaps of free content here where I share insights and also guided hypnosis sessions and meditations, so you can start your healing journey today. If this resonated, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and I do my best to answer every question. Thanks for hanging with me. If you like this video, the next one will go even deeper. I'll see you there.